I take it very seriously, but that doesn't mean that I look like a homeless person.
So who cares? Why not do your own thing and let them say what they want?
What's up guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about something that was inspired by a Joe Rogan clip that I was suggested and then therefore watched because I like Joe Rogan and I watch the JRE clips quite often. This is one about female hunters. Though I am not a hunter myself and I don't like hunting, I kind of understand its necessity in some areas, but for me, it's just not for me. I like animals too much and I like to see them alive. In fact, I would probably die before I ate my dog or my cat or killed animals off just because there's an overpopulation problem. It's just not something I would ever do or want to do. In fact, I used to be so emotional about it before that I would ban people who had their profile picture as holding up a deer head. And especially, I still think about banning people who are killing exotic animals just as trophies. I think that's viscerally disgusting. But I don't care. My opinion aside, I know that there are different purviews and perspectives on this, and I don't care to argue it right now. I don't even care to argue it ever because I understand where the other side is coming from. It's just entirely viscerally not for me. But anyway, they were talking about female hunters, and since I know nothing about hunting, we're gonna equate hunting to gaming, I guess. I'm kind of sick of talking about female posers in gaming. I'm sure I've talked about it 100 times on this channel and on the gaming channel. Probably more often than not, I was talking about it in a way that was kind of sticking up for myself. And today, instead of sticking up for myself for the billionth time that I'm a real gamer, guys, I have that here for the thumbnail, by the way. It's supposed to be in my streaming room, but it doesn't work because it needs a new battery anyway. I don't know why I use real batteries in these. I think there's a battery pack or something you can get, but this is fucking Xbox garbage anyway. I only use it for PC, so whatever. Moving on, I think it's very apparent after over 1,000 videos on my gaming channel and thousands of hours on Twitch that unless you're brand new to my content, I don't really need to prove to you that I like games. It's clear that I do. And I thought this set, while very comforting and nice, and I'm loving it right now, was not only apropos for my outfit because it's very cozy. It's the cozy natural lit set that I'm probably going to be using for ASMR mostly. It does have a bunch of gaming stuff in the background because this is also doubly my gaming channel set, which I don't use that often anymore, so might as well use it for ASMR as well. But it makes sense. Here, I'm looking like a poser as well. I have a bunch of collectibles and stuff. I am just rambling at this point, so let's get into what Joe Rogan says in the video. And I really advise you to go watch this video because he's not stating that all women are like this or that all women who dress up and then go hunting, video gaming, are like this, that they're posers, or that they are just doing it for the male gaze and to get attention and money and because it's easy money. He's not saying everyone's like that. And I understand where he's coming from because it's definitely normal to judge people who are extremely attractive or don't look like they would be in a certain kind of lifestyle who's posting aesthetic pictures on Instagram. You kind of think does that person really like that? Or are they just there for the aesthetic aspect of it? Or are they just there for the likes and the clicks and the money that it possibly could generate? There are many Twitch thoughts or gamer girls that I have thought wow, she's probably not a real gamer girl, and I think it's normal to judge people, not only because it's a biological survival instinct thing, which is mostly not useful for survival anymore, but we still kind of have it ingrained in our biology and our DNA, so it's gonna happen. We're gonna judge people, and I think there is still a use for that in the modern world where we don't need to fend for our lives every time we see someone who looks and acts differently than us. We still do need to make judgment calls on whether people are genuine so we have the right people in our lives and around us so we don't get taken advantage of all the time. And I think these little indicators, things that seem off to us because we live a certain way and this person lives differently to us, it still makes sense, but in this day and age it should be taken with a grain of salt. And the measure of a man is not whether or not you judge people before you know them, it's what you do with that knowledge. So if you just take that knowledge as a little warning signal in the back of your brain that can be easily malleable and changeable, I think it makes perfect sense to use it as kind of a quick way to preconceive someone's intentions with us. So I personally think that if you judge someone harshly in the beginning, as long as you don't act on those without any reason to, let's say a gamer girl is just gaming on her channel and you come in and start hating on her for no reason because you had a bad day, or you don't completely solidify that in your mind as if it's actual fact, then I think that's perfectly fine and natural, and I think it can have uses also because our instinct, that little feeling in the back of our minds that something is off, is also what protects us from sketchy situations like walking around on the street at 2 a.m. and seeing someone following following you, all of those things are very still necessary today. And again, I'm off topic. In this video, Joe Rogan and some other guy, I don't know who he is, are talking about girls who dress in all pink, in his words, and wear fake eyelashes and go out and hunt. Now, I personally don't know anything about hunting, but I would assume that none of that actually gets in the way of hunting unless you're like trying to actually blend in with camo or something. I don't know. I clearly don't know enough about the necessities of hunting, but I do know, however, that, where's the stupid Xbox controller? I do know, however, that this looking better than just a standard controller, or this being modded, or this being pink, does not in any way inherently make me not able to game properly. The same goes for when I'm hiking. You guys have seen my pictures on Instagram. Instagram.com/TaraBabcockIRL is the one that has all the hiking pictures. You guys have seen that I hike aesthetically, but I don't wear cotton. Cotton kills, as they say, when you're out hiking and mountaineering and bouldering and climbing and all that stuff. Cotton isn't great because it doesn't wick away the moisture and then dry quickly. It actually stays there and makes you colder, which makes you more susceptible to hypothermia, etc. If you're wearing cotton socks, it can chafe and therefore you get blisters, so it's not good for actual hiking. But the fact that I dress nicely and I find things that are the appropriate synthetic and natural fibers in order to wick away moisture to do that job for me, but I find better looking ones, doesn't inherently make me not a hiker. Not someone who hikes a long distance or hikes up mountains. Obviously, I'm a beginner still, and I'm taking it very slowly because I have extreme acrophobia, which is a fear of heights. It's an irrational fear of heights. I think everyone should have a realistic understanding of how heights can kill you. I mean, above 80 feet, you have like a 90% fatality rate. So obviously, you don't want to fall while you're climbing or rock scrambling or anything, but I love it so much that I think I should get over that kind of fear in order to progress and get to scaling up higher mountains with higher grades and more drop-offs and things that freak me the fuck out. But anyway, I take it very seriously, but that doesn't mean that I look like a homeless person while I'm hiking like a lot of other people do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I think something that Joe often doesn't understand, and a lot of men often don't understand, and again, I am not taking away from the fact that there are a lot of female posers who are just doing certain things because they think it's easy money. But I would challenge you to ask yourself why those girls chose that particular thing. In my assertion, I think most of the poser girls, like in gaming or in fitness or something, they know enough and they're passionate about it. They're just not as competitive or as into it as men are. I think women get into things, typically, obviously not every single woman, but I think women get into things a little bit differently than men. My entire life, I have loved customizing things. Everything from like the pencil box I would bring to preschool, my binders, my backpacks, and clearly the way that I dress, my home, everything. I've loved to customize it in a way that I feel happy and comfortable and it feels like it represents me. And then I can also go back and look on that time and be like, wow, that was really aesthetic. Those pictures that I took during that thing were really aesthetic. But that doesn't mean that any of that stuff gets in the way of me actually doing it. It just means that I have another priority in there that makes it more interesting to me, because I'm not going to be the most competitive hiker or climber or doing the most dangerous stuff. I think being the most competitive in something, even though women are very much, to certain varying degrees, very competitive, I'm very competitive, but I'm not esports pro gamer competitive. And I think part of that has to do with the level of testosterone that I don't have. Being that competitive and having that kind of drive is a biologically male trait, and I don't think there's anything wrong with women being into something in a different way than men are. I think me and a male hiker or a male competitive gamer or something care a similar amount to each other to win or to get to the top of that peak. It's just that he doesn't care about the aesthetic aspect and I care about the aesthetic aspect. It makes me feel better. It makes me look back upon my memories as like that was more fun because, I don't know, I was made up during it. Or I'm at an event with this controller that has my name on it and is pink and it's cute and it's custom and it makes me feel like I stand out from the crowd in a way that I enjoy. Most of the time, that stuff doesn't inherently take away from the actual action of the thing that the girl is doing. So before I started this, I actually rewatched the Joe Rogan video because I had forgotten some of the things that he said, and I had gotten the idea for this a few weeks ago, but I've been AF camera for a while. Away from camera, not away from keyboard. I was at keyboard editing for the last 5 days, and then the 2 days before that I was hiking for the Halloween special. But anyway, my basic point is that I had forgotten exactly what he said and exactly what I wanted to say in this video. But he quite literally said that he sees girls all dolled up going out and taking hunting pictures, and then some of their other posts on their Instagram pages are them doing weird exercises with their butts. I don't do that kind of thing. I don't do those exercises. And it's like, yeah, because you're a man and she's a woman, and I think men and women both should stop arguing at each other about what is the proper way to enjoy a certain activity or the proper way to be a true hunter, using like the no true Scotsman fallacy. No true Scotsman would take weird butt selfies and post them online. It's like, it's an aesthetics thing for most women. And yes, it is something that men like to see, so I don't know why men rail against it, because it's men who are the patrons of that kind of content. And I don't mean patron as in like Patreon. I mean like people who actually donate or follow or like that kind of content. Yeah, they're gonna be men. So women are doing a thing that they enjoy, that men enjoy watching, and I do not see the problem. The problem lies within if the woman is actually trying to manipulate you in some way blatantly, not just like, oh, it's manipulating to see a hot girl because I just can't stop taking my dick out and giving money. Like, that's your problem. Deal with it on your own time. Be better with your money, have more self-control, I don't know. But obviously I take issue personally with girls who are like, yes, I will love you forever if you just give me money, baby. I need the money and then I will drive down, fly down, and be yours forever. That kind of shit is fucked up, but 90% of girls don't do that kind of shit. I've never seen any of the people that I follow, any of the girls that I follow do that kind of shit. In fact, most of the cosplayers and most of the ethos that I follow, they're either really nice people who genuinely like doing what they do, or they have some environmental reason for doing what they do. Like, I don't know, they were abused as a kid, so now they're overtly sexual because of it. I wouldn't try to surmise what environmental factor made people the way that they are, because likely you have a reason for the way that you are behaving as well that's not completely great. So I don't know why we would like hate on people for having those problems, you know? Some people genuinely just like doing what they do. Women like to dress up and look cute and look nice. It doesn't matter that in the back of their biology it's saying look nice for these men or whatever. And it doesn't matter that in the back of a man's biology is saying, oh, you know, give money to provide for this hot woman so she'll take my seed. You have to use logic and reason and make good decisions. There's no reason to hate on a girl for taking advantage of her capitalistic ingenuity to do something that she loves or at least enjoys enough to make a career out of, and then makes money doing it. It makes no sense. Anything that I get into, I'm gonna want to do it in an aesthetic manner. I'm gonna like it better and enjoy my time better if I can take pictures or videos. That doesn't mean I do it every time, though with hiking I kind of have been taking pictures every time, but it's not like the whole time. Like, the point is to get from point A to point B and back, or up and down a mountain, or around a loop or something, and like push myself and burn calories, but it's like an added extra, you know? Something that doesn't take away, but to me just adds. And who are you to say that, let's say this works worse, kind of sounds like it works worse at this point, but who's to say that you can make the decision that it makes sense for me to slightly put a detriment on my gameplay in order to have something aesthetic? Maybe that's just what I enjoy, and it doesn't make me someone who doesn't love video games or doesn't like playing or doesn't like hiking or doesn't like hunting. It just means that girls care more about aesthetics and personality more often than not. And think about it, like, I'm a huge Jeep lover. I fucking love Jeeps, oh my god. And I know that there's a huge Jeep community out there of men who soup the fuck out of their Jeeps and never go off-road. They wouldn't go off-road a tenth of the amount that I would. Yet it's a predominantly male group of people just souping the fuck out of their Jeeps. And you know what? They make it manly and dark and extra lifted, even though they don't need it at all and have never climbed a boulder with the front axle of their Jeeps or whatever ever once. And then there's women who are souping up their Jeeps and they're putting like pink little bows on it and making it look badass, but also pink in their own personality. So why are you so mad at the female version of that when there are men doing the exact same thing as well? If you are one of these woke men's that know what women are doing with their bodies and aren't going to give the women $1 for watching them play video games or whatever, then you have nothing to worry about. They're not taking advantage of you. You have the common sense to know that they are there as a transaction of content for money, and if you want to give to them, that's wholly your right, but if you don't, that's wholly your right too. So why are you so angry at them and not angry at the men who, like, pretend they're not on steroids even though they are, so that they keep more sponsorships and more followers who are ignorant to the fact of what steroids actually is and the risks that they have and don't have? Why aren't you mad at these kinds of people? Does it boil down to you just literally being mad at every person that's more successful than you at something that you perceive to have an easier life than you? I feel like that's just a negative way to view everything. And it's like cynicism for the sake of coping with your own unhappiness with your life, you know? You guys can give me rebuttals to this down in the comments section, and obviously I'm not gonna hold you guys to telling me why pink clothing or fake eyelashes would hurt you when you're hunting, but I do know that having a pink gun with a pink holster, things that I don't have a pink holster, I have a pink gun though. I don't see how that stops me from protecting myself or stops me from hitting the target any more than a guy who has an extra black gun or a gun with a skull and crossbones spray painted on it professionally. Some people just care a little bit more about looks and aesthetics, and it adds to their experience. So basically what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, women take take things on a different level of seriousness commonly than men do. Women are gonna be less competitive, more aesthetic probably. But then there are tons and tons and tons of men who are not amazing at hunting, biking, hiking, whatever the fuck we're talking about, who also have like the best gaming gear or the best hunting gear and are kind of posers. And I'm wondering why you're spending so much time hating on the female version of that when there are a plethora of male versions of that doing the exact same thing. Neither of which you are affected by, but one of which you are vitriolic towards for literally no reason, based on only preconceived notions that could be completely wrong. If someone actually does something to you wrong, or if someone is actually hurting other people in a tangible way that isn't just like they're making guys give them money and have an easy life, then sure, speak out against it. But it seems very self-hating and self-loathing to spend that much time hating on a group of people that you don't even interact with. It just doesn't make any sense. So this was basically just wanting to give my perspective on why women might behave differently in different circles, especially male-dominated circles, than men do. Oh, and the other thing I was gonna say is that most cosplayers and ethos that I know are either really nice people or they're extremely feminist and you wouldn't even want to be like friends with them. They're not pandering to men at all. They just clearly like dressing up as their favorite characters from anime and stuff is what I was trying to say before. But I keep getting sidetracked, oh my god. And then my last and final point, man, I am clearly out of it. Take a week off of filming and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. And my last and final point was, I think it's not the same issue. Women caring more about aesthetics and appearance and stuff like that, that's a separate issue from women being less competitive or less legit in all of these fields or having less accomplishments. I think the nature of most women, or the nature of an average woman, is to just really enjoy something, be softcore competitive, have a good time, get really into something, feel like you're doing something that's hard, and then put your own personality and girly spin on it. So it's not because they're doing all these girly additions like this controller that they are worse than men. It's not because they're less interested. It's just because there's a little bit of a difference in biology and opportunity, as I've always said before. I think a lot of the reason there are no female esports pros that can beat male esports pros is because women have so many more social opportunities and they're more geared toward the social. Whereas men will strive to do something without reason, without logic, and just be like, I have to be the best. And both of those have downfalls and redeeming qualities about them. And both of them are obviously varying on a case-by-case basis because there are a lot of men that are not competitive at all. And there are a lot of women who are hyper-competitive and one of the best in their fields. But in general, you see a lot of poser girls because girls do competitive things differently than men. And there is a lot of crossover that you should recognize. I think for every girl with a pink Jeep and a pink hunting rifle wearing fake eyelashes, there's also a guy with a skull and crossbones on his Jeep who has never taken it off-road a single time and keeps it completely clean, which is a low I would never even stoop to. I think it's important to recognize some of these things within ourselves so that we can better understand where people are coming from. So if there's ever a time when you like to customize something or when you like to buy the best of the best gear even though you're not the best of the best kind of person, both of those things are me to a T. I'm more interested in getting better at things like bass or like hiking or playing games if I can have my own custom stuff. It's just how it is. And fortunately, I can either find cheap ways to do this or I can afford ways to do this. But if I couldn't, I would still be out there with a $1 can of spray paint, spray painting my fucking shitty Xbox controller so that I could stand out at the next like fucking LAN party or whatever. I haven't been to a LAN anything since I was like 18 or something. Shout out to Game Clucks in Seattle. But yeah, tell me what you think about this. It was a little all over the place. I'm gonna be posting the link to the video down in the description. I know it would help me better articulate against each certain point that Joe Rogan and the other guy made if I like put clips in there and then responded after I rewatched the clip. But for me, it's more about an idea. I'm not hating on Joe Rogan at all. I don't even think Joe Rogan would disagree with me if I had the pleasure of ever being able to talk to him about this. In fact, he really is the epitome of a guy who acts like women are a mystery and then clearly doesn't really know how to navigate the topic of them and just has like different notions that he's fully willing to change his mind about or go back on if new information should arise. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you enjoyed the little talking portion of it. My camera's about to die. Holy shit. I am wearing the cutest. Oh my god, let me show you. Here's more of me needing to be aesthetic. If I'm gonna sit here and look comfy, I want to be wearing teddy bear fucking stockings, okay? Is there anything wrong with teddy bear stockings? Do teddy bear stockings and cleavage shirts do anything to hurt the content? for you. If anything, I would assume my demographic probably likes it better. But for me, it's comfy, it's sexy, and it is great that you guys enjoy it. You guys enjoy it for the sexiness. I enjoy it for the cuteness and the comfort and the sexiness. And I appreciate you guys noticing the hard work that I put into my body or my look or choosing my clothing even. And I have no problem with that kind of transaction, and I have no ill will against guys who are just like, oh my god, you're so hot, or I have no ill will against guys who think that maybe I'm pandering to something without truly being myself, because yeah, that is a notion that you can have right off the bat. But I hope that you can put that in a stasis bubble and then actually make an assessment based on like more than 2 seconds of a video or a thumbnail that you've seen. This reminds me of like my last F&M that I recorded. Oh man, some dude, multiple dudes actually, thought that I was actually taken just by the title of my clickbait video, and I'm like, oh my god, guys. Like, who clicks a clickbait video just to post a comment, knowing that they got clickbaited, and then not actually watching the content to see if what they're saying is completely obsolete? It's so funny. I'm gonna go. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and more ASMR videos soon. I haven't posted or taken even an ASMR video or fan service Friday for the Patreon since the first one, because it's so weird. I had to turn it in back to the company for repair because I come upstairs, nobody had knocked it over. Jay would never in a million years come up here for any reason, and Eve didn't knock it over because Eve can't pick it back up. But I come in and I like turn on the mic to start filming my second ASMR video because I'm actually quite excited about it. It was fun to film, even though I'm not like an ASMR connoisseur, someone who actually listens and gets the tingles and stuff. It was fun to film. It was very relaxing and nice and aesthetic. It was just like stuff that I like, you know, and I get to like mess around with things like, oh my god, guys, oh my god. It was fun, and like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun. So if you're into ASMR, check back later. But yeah, like the bass roll-off button was depressed into the chassis of, you know, where it is with the electronics on the motherboard or the, you know what I'm saying. And then when I got Jay to pull the switch out with pliers, it was wiggling back and forth and didn't work anymore. So then I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to use the bass roll-off. Like every single ASMR person I've seen do ASMR, they leave it off, it looks like, because you can usually see their setup on stream. So I'm like, whatever. So I go to record and it won't record sound. I have no idea what happened. Oh my fucking god. But it is on its way back to me. So hopefully I'll film at least one more ASMR video while I'm away on vacation. But if I don't, it's probably good because I want you guys' feedback on the first one first. I think it's been 11 days or something. It's actually after my birthday now. I'm filming this on Tuesday. Almost said Tuesday. Tuesday the 15th of October. And I'm finally almost ahead all the way through November so I can do my ultimate birthday awesomeness, and I have a lot planned. So stay tuned for that as well, but also know that while I will be reading the comments, I'm not gonna be like updating the next video with stuff that you guys have said from the last. It's all pre-recorded. So keep that in mind before you're like, Tara, I've asked this question 40 times and it's still not in a video. What the fuck? That's enough of me for today. I think I'm gonna go back to editing, which is what I do best right now after that fucking October Halloween special, which you guys saw. I hope you guys watched it, by the way. I'm gonna link that down in the description as well. If you haven't seen it yet, that was a passion project of mine. Again, another reason why I just really love cinematography and aesthetics, and I want to try different effects and different things that are like cheesy and funny to me. And the world takes all types to spin. So to hate on someone just because you don't think it's important to have this kind of a controller, and to take away from them what they do just because it's not something that's your cup of tea, it just seems so odd to me. Like, do you really want only one kind of guy, one kind of boring ass, unhappy dude on Twitch that's like, I'm literally grinding to be a Korean StarCraft pro, and I have no other life. I've never played a Final Fantasy before. I've never enjoyed myself. Oh my god. Do you really want only that kind of guy playing games because that's the only real gamer? Or do you want people who enjoy it for every aspect? For speed running, for casual gaming, for whatever the fuck. It takes all types, man. And you guys know you like looking at titties. So stop hating on titties. Maybe give titties some more love and they won't so often be so fucking feminist back at you. Because trust me, as a girl looking like me, you get a lot of love, you get a lot of praise, but I think a lot of the girls are insecure, and what they hear and see more is the hate that you get. And you get a lot of fucking hate just for like doing something that you feel like you're staying in your lane and you're having a good time and you're doing what you love and you're putting your own spin on things and you're creating content, and you have some guy over here that's acting like you're literally Hitler. it's a lot, and I'm so grateful that I'm so numb to it because I haven't felt anything about that for a long time, but occasionally I'll see a really fragile e-thought, and I'm using that as a term of endearment at this point. I don't hate or care. I'm not saying I'm not an e-thought. Definitely am by the definition or whatever. But I'll see them like having a mental breakdown, and then I'll see the guys that reply that are like, you have it so easy. You just have to show your tits and you have everything paid for you. And first of all, a lot of them are broke as fuck and they're paying way too much on cosplays because that is where their passion lies. And they're like, okay, I'll just take my titties out and I don't like to do it, but you know, that's how I get the money. And it's like, you are not putting your hatred on something that you should be putting your hatred on. But hey, if it stops you from hating yourself, go ahead and freely hate me. I will be your bastion of self-loathing because I don't give a fuck. Hit me with your worst and hit me with your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. I love you. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm finally digging myself out of the algorithm, or at least I was about a month ago after being in the algorithm asshole crevice for like a month. So yeah. Oh, and I will see you in the next one. Oh my god, do you guys like me more? I'm gonna go hiking like this. And you know what? If you wear SPF and if it's warm enough, you can. Why not? Other than tarantula hawks. That's a good reason not to. Okay.